today's video, I'm gonna go over creating shoulder pads yourself. So we're going to kind of break down this. This is a store-bought one, but it is made in the traditional way. So I picked this up at Pacific Trim, which is in Manhattan in the Garment District. In the process, I'm going to just show you what materials you'll need, which will be this kind of like hair canvas. This is just a little swatch. Hair canvas fabric. It is interfacing that you stitch in by hand. I believe they make some that's iron-on, but that's not the one you want. You want this one. And next you're going to need cotton batting, which is often used in quilting. So I just got this off of Amazon. Something very easy to find at your local fabric store. What else? Some basting thread or any kind of thread will work really, but I like to use natural threads. Cotton is my go-to for internal things for garments. I've created a shoulder piece pattern, and the straight edge goes into your shoulder seam and the longest pointed end goes towards the front. The shorter end goes towards the back. So for instance, this one would go on this shoulder like that. And yeah, I'm gonna focus on about a 1/2 inch thick shoulder pad for my coat that I'm making, which if you haven't heard, go see my first video about the sketching process and get amped up, because I'm super excited to be doing this project. It's been in my head for quite some time. But anyways, so I'm going to focus on doing about a 1/2 inch. This one, let's see, what does this measure? This one's about 3/4 of an inch thick, so it's a bit much for me. So I'm just gonna take it down 1/4 of an inch by making my own. And this is my first round of making my own. I've made them before in the past, but I'm gonna make one step by step to show you guys how to do all of it at home, in case your store doesn't have shoulder pads, but yet you have all the materials you'll need just by chance, and then you can make your own. So I'm going to change camera positions and we're gonna start. Now that we have these are my patterns that I have. You're gonna cut these on the bias, and I'm gonna see if I have any scraps that I can kind of wiggle this onto. Yeah, so I'm gonna use this one little piece so it doesn't go to waste. This is some scrap that I have. Let's see if I can use any of that. Okay, I think I've got some room on here. I'm gonna get a little scrappy here because we can. No, I just had it. There we go. All right, so we have the left and the right. And then once we have those, we're gonna cut out some same shapes from the cotton batting. And let me just kind of get this situated. I think I can use this piece. Maybe I can get all of it out. This, obviously, it's just some shaped, or this is just like really loose. It's not woven or anything, so I don't need to worry about being on the bias here. It's really just getting it in where I can. So that looks like it'll work. Let's see, can this fit? Is this using the wisest way of placing these. All right. So once you get them pinned on however they fit, you just go ahead and cut them out. No reason to be extremely precise here because you're going to grade the shapes of them. And grading is just, if you don't know what grading is, it's just taking one layer at a time, making it smaller, and then smaller and smaller. Alright, so finally we got right, left pieces. And I think, so I only have 2 layers of the cotton batting. And I think I really need 3 layers. So I'm gonna cut out one more little chunk out of each. Alright, so this looks pretty chunky, but I still have to do the grading and the stitching and all of that. So that's what we're gonna do next. So you're gonna start with whichever side you want to start with first. Now we are left with our batting. So what we wanna do is, for the batting, you can either make separate patterns for this, or you can just eyeball it. So you're gonna grade it by a 1/2 inch each time when you trim down, and then you're gonna curve each one. Eventually you'll get something that looks like this with the batting under there. So you'll have your bottom layer, your middle layer, and your top layer. You can just take one and trim an eyeball about a 1/2 inch all the way around. Not too bad, pretty close. Let's see the top. So the top just needs a little bit trimmed off, but I didn't do too bad. And then, yeah, you just keep doing the same thing for each layer. Okay. So there we have our 3 layers. Just like that. Okay, so once you have this all done, you're going to just do a long running stitch along the edge, catching like pretty much just your hair canvas. This is just to keep it all kind of together loosely. Don't pull tight. It's just to keep everything together. Right, so when you're done, you have something that kind of just looks like a pillow. Then what you're going to do is trim this off, and then same basting thread, you will tie another knot. And now we're gonna do some stab stitching, and stab stitching is, you know, just as it sounds. You're going to stab straight into your shoulder pad. You're gonna start from over here, stab. I'm gonna stab going up first just to hide that knot underneath everything. Of course I would lose my thread as I do this. Alright, so yeah, so start from going up so that way you don't have any knots on the top side, but about every 3/4 of an inch to an inch you're gonna just stab down, and you're going to keep doing this all the way along. You're gonna switch around doing like a zigzag motion, or you can do the perimeter gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Also, I want to note, do not pull tightly. You're gonna just keep it loose. Like this is a good example. Like there's no pillowing in this at all. They just stay the surface level, so you're not pulling it really tight to get like a cloud-like look. So you'll want to take your pressing ham and you'll pin this onto it like this. And I like to just pin it straight in, and it doesn't have to be tight or super precise, but this should be plenty. I might even end up taking these out here, but I have my handy steamer here, this little thing. You're literally just going to douse it in some steam. Try not to get your fingers. And you'll just do some light tapping to really get that shape to set in. And you can remove that pin. Once you kind of get this to lay flatter than it was originally when you first pinned it on, just set it aside and let it just dry and kind of cure itself to this form. And then once that's ready to go, I'll show you kind of what it looks like when you take it off. So for now, this will just set aside while I put together my next shoulder pad off camera, and I will show you guys the final results. I'm going to show you what this looks like when you take it off, because it feels like it's dry now. And then when you take it off, it keeps the shape. So I wouldn't like lay this down on the table for too long. If it's for the day, that's fine. But if you have made these too far in advance, you can just pin the very tip with a straight pin, or if you have a safety pin, to just loop it through there to keep them together. That should work as well. But yeah, if you're storing it any longer than like a day or so, just pin it. It'll keep it nice and fresh for you. So I'm gonna just quickly steam this one, and then I'm gonna just show you like what they look like on the mannequin, because I think that'll be just a fun way to present them to you, other than just being on the table. For this video. I hope that it was an insightful video on how to make your own shoulder pads at home. If you try this out, let me know how it goes in the comments below. Any struggles or confusions, I'm happy to answer any questions you have, or celebrate that you made your shoulder pads at home and it was a success. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel to stay up to date of what's going on at New Heritage Wool. If you really like one of these videos, feel free to share it with your friends. I'd really appreciate it. It would help me out and the algorithm to pick me up and let more people see this amazing content. And until next time, I will see you later.